Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a second. If you want to have a seat. Everybody up in the control booth, okay? Let me find my notes. Alrighty, well, welcome everybody to the Landscape Assessment Tools, Processes for Forest and Project Planning. Where do forest management projects come from? I think that's the longest title of a workshop I've ever done. We're just going to call it Landscape Assessments from here on out. Welcome, my name is Friesen. I'm the Science Liaison with the Willamette National Forest. My partners in crime, before I forget, of planning this day for you are Jane Curtis with the Northwest Oregon Ecology Group, who's sitting right there, and Ann Schliske, who's with the Region 6 Planning Group, who is down here in front. So they're my backups in case anything goes floofy. So if you need anything throughout the day, give a call to those two gals. Building logistics, there's restrooms on either side of the room out there. There'll be coffee and stuff at the break. There's a big roped off area, please stay out of. That's for a dinner function later. Let's see. Oh, and this is being live streamed. So as far as I know, there are tons of people out there in TV land who are watching us, and I said I would shout and wave out to y'all. I know you're sitting on your couch in your footy pajamas and holding your cat and watching this on your iPad. But, and I would be too if I was you, but you miss all this interaction of having all this brain power in one room. So, nanner, you're comfortable, but we're being more stimulated, perhaps. So why are we here? Well, I used to spend a lot of time with Fred Swanson, who's kind of a landscapey, sciencey sort of a guy here at the P&W station. And he would always put up this slide in all of his talks, worldwide. And he'd say, is this a good landscape or a bad landscape? And he was always doing west side, but he could have done east side stuff. He could have showed slides like this. He could have showed slides like this, which are kind of hard to see, actually. Maybe we do need to dim some lights. I'm talking to the light guy in the booth. Yeah, you can see the dead a little bit better. Yeah, we see the little dead a little bit better. So are these good landscapes or bad landscapes? Well, if you're a deer or elk, historical thinking, or a Doug fir, this landscape was perfect, staggered setting, clear cutting, lots of light, lots of forage, and not maybe so much 30 years later. If you've got a dying landscape like this, maybe if you're a three-toed or a black-backed woodpecker, you're in heaven. A lot of other things might not think it's quite so special. So how do you assess these landscapes? How do you decide what's a good or a bad landscape? And there's never going to be a right answer. It's always going to depend. I know people always want the right answer, one answer. I always say they want the answer 12. It doesn't exist. It's always going to depend. But that's the purpose of today, is providing you some tools and some thought processes of how you look at these landscapes and think through them to get to some sort of a desired outcome. Knowing that desired outcome might not be right. It might not be right forever. It might only be right for right now. But it is the best you can do with the tools that you have and the information at hand. The way the day is laid out is we're going to talk a little bit about Landscape Ecology 101. Think about some processes for thinking through landscapes. We're going to have talking about scaling and models. And we're going to spend most of our time talking about what your peers are doing. So this is real life stuff. This is what the folks out in the field are actually putting into practice and finding that that's working for them and they're able to invest it and make it work. We're going to kick off with the line officer who has to buy off and sign off on all of this stuff and sit before the judge and say it's all okay, and he trusts his people that they're doing the best that they possibly can. And we are going to end with the line officer who's going to talk to us about the promises of future planning and what her expectations are after she's learned all this stuff today and her mind is totally blown, huh, Meg? So that'll be Meg at the end of the day.